How's it going? This is your Supply Chain Pro here. Building a professional and effective resume is one of the essential steps to applying for a new job. Your Supply Chain Pro is here with over 7 years of experience as a hiring manager who has looked at thousands of resumes, conducted over 400 interviews, and hired over 200 employees in my career. I am here to give you the insight to what a hiring manager is looking for in your resume. Your resume is the first communication that a hiring manager looks at while evaluating your candidacy for a position. In today's labor market, having a resume is essential for anyone seriously looking to apply to a job opening. The hiring manager may look at 10 or 20 or 50 resumes and only select 4 to 8 interviews out of the pool of applicants. You will want your resume to stand out when compared to other applying candidates. The hardest and yet most important part about building a resume is communicating your career experience in a concise way that is also presentable to the hiring manager. You could probably write a short novel of all of your career experience in a comprehensive attempt to communicate why a hiring manager should select you. No hiring manager wants to read a novel on a single applicant, and 1 page front and back is the longest conventional resume that would be accepted. In this video, we advise you to try to fit your resume on one single front page, not front and back. 1-page resumes that are effectively constructed highlight the career, experience, achievements, and strengths that a hiring manager needs to know before making a decision. At the top of your resume, you want the first thing that a hiring manager sees to be your name in bold and your contact information. In the event there are 30 resumes on their desk, you want them to be able to easily find yours, and having a large and bold name is the best way to do that. As you construct your resume, you may feel the desire to inflate the information on your resume. It is understandable that you want the position you're applying for, and you may feel like you need to stretch or bend the truth in order to have a better chance of getting the job. The best thing that you can do when it comes to the information on your resume is to find a positive way to tell the truth in every scenario. You will have facts that support you as a great candidate, and you may have some facts from your past that hiring managers may question or may view negatively. If the negative issues are small, you can put them on your resume and be prepared to explain in a positive way why they're there and how you learned from them. If the negative issues are large, it is best not to include them. Remember, the resume is the beginning part of the process, and if you find yourself bending the truth too much or flat out lying in order to inflate your candidacy, hiring managers will see right through that in the interview, that you don't know what you're talking about, and you will have wasted everyone's time, including your own, by creating a false representation of who you are. Stick to the facts, and remember, the goal of applying to a job is to be happy long-term in that job. Getting a job that you are not qualified for will feel good in the short term, but in the long term will not be sustainable. Hiring managers are looking to find a candidate that will be a good fit for the position and are seeking long-term success from this hire. There's nothing to tell a manager more about a person they have never met before than their past actions. The first content that you want a hiring manager to look at is your past work history. The ideal candidate has a track record of long-term consistency with past employers. If an applicant has 4 or 5 jobs in 2 or 3 years, that tells the hiring manager that this candidate is having a difficult time staying at an organization. And chances are they might have a difficult time staying at this organization as well. If you find yourself having less than a perfect job history, tell the truth on your resume and be prepared if you are selected for an interview to explain some of the shortcomings and what you've learned or look forward to doing differently in the future. In this section, highlight what companies you work for, positions you held, and for how long you were in those roles. If you have objective achievements or awards in any of these roles, this is an excellent place to concisely and professionally brag about your past work accomplishments. For example, if you were the employee of the month at one of your jobs, or you created an error report that led to a reduction of errors in a facility by 50%, this would be the spot to highlight those achievements. You can also talk about things that you learned as well. The next major section of the resume should be your certifications and skills. Always start with your official certifications that you can provide a physical or electronic document if requested. Then, sequence your list of skills based on your strengths and the significance of the skill to the job that you are applying for. As an example, if you are applying to a forklift driving position, you would want to highlight first your previous forklift training certifications and experience with the stand-up forklift, the sit-down forklift, the order picker pieces of powered equipment, and how you completed an OSHA safety certification training at a previous employer. If you know how to code HTML websites, that is a skill that says something about you, and it's worth including. However, you will want to put it at the end of this section, as it has very little to do with forklift operation. You can, however, highlight this skill and some of your strengths, such as attention to detail and application of logical rules during an interview, to help show a hiring manager a true representation of your strengths as an employee. In the next section, you will want to highlight your education, starting with the most recently obtained degree. If your last degree obtained was your high school diploma, put this here. Include the school attended, degree received, and years attended. If you have a degree from a higher educational institution, you may want to skip your high school degree and just put your post-secondary school degree, years attended, and major. If you have multiple degrees after high school, start with the most recent and work your way backwards, leaving out your high school degree. The final section of your resume is designed for your references. These references should be someone in a position of authority that are qualified to comment on your past work performance or your character. If you have previous work experience, you should place contact information of a previous supervisor, or at minimum, your previous company's contact information and a supervisor's name. If you're applying for your first job, it is advised to put names in the contact information of your teachers or professors that can comment on your academic performance. Other options for those just entering the workforce could be an athletic teams coach, religious leader such as a pastor, or any mentor who is in a position of responsibility and authority that knows who you are and can comment on your strengths and weaknesses. It is a good idea to ask your references ahead of time if they are comfortable being your references before submitting their names and contact information on your resume. This section is important to hiring managers because anyone who is serious about filling a role will call your references. Your references have the ability to further communicate what type of worker you were, and it helps a hiring manager build confidence in a hiring decision. Avoid putting family members and friends and previous coworkers that are at your same level. Social references are not the most effective to include on your resume. As you construct your resume, you will want to select a standardized font that looks professional. Boring is not necessarily a bad thing when it comes to format. You want your content to be exciting. You don't want your resume to be distracting. Make sure that you read over your resume once or twice after you are done to ensure there are no spelling or grammatical mistakes. Remember, you are competing against tens, scores, or even hundreds of other applicants. You want to make sure that you are putting the best possible version of why someone should hire you forward. And there you have it. You've just written a resume that is designed to capture a hiring manager's interest using tried and true principles from the industry. A future goal of this channel will be to provide templates for job applicants who need some help with their resume. Check the description below in the future for a link to that content. If you have a great, terrible, or unique resume experience, please comment down below. Like and subscribe if you found value in any of the content presented in this video. This is your Supply Chain Pro, out.